It's January. I know how much you love the transfer window. Let's talk about some success in the transfer window, shall we? You were looking for a number 9, a target man. You've got Aaron Pressley in from Brentford. How good news is that, and what can he bring to you?
I just heard January and I was thinking of Pilot and the song. No, yeah, I'm delighted to get Aaron. He's someone we tried to get a couple of years ago. He's a man. He's played 20 odd games in League One, so he knows the league. He knows the way we play. He's keen to play the way we play, and he's keen to do well. And the players who've always succeeded with us are the ones who are hungry and want to be successful. And he ticks every box we can imagine.
Quite often, players get their first loans with you and then go on somewhere else for subsequent loans, having learnt the ropes. Is it nice to have somebody coming in who's maybe done those settling in things and getting used to the league and all that stuff first, and you're getting second go at him?
Yeah, I think so. And I think he knows the league, and he's been watching us play as well. Since we first generated interest about 3 or 4 weeks ago, he's been watching us, so he knows what we're about. He knows that he can fit into the way we play. He's keen to work hard, and as I say, he meets all the requirements that we want of a footballer. What
do you think he's seeing, looking at the recent games as a centre forward? Do you think he's seeing opportunities?
Well, I think, everyone goes on this expected goals thing now. We are quite high up on that. We don't score anywhere near like we should with our expected goals, so then that's an opportunity for a striker. You've seen how many shots we have, albeit some of them aren't goal-worthy attempts, but we do get into situations. I think, the fact that myself and Jimmy Bell were both strikers as well, I think, we can pass on some of what we learnt as footballers.
You said that some success in the Cups and some maybe unexpected revenue would allow you to bring a striker in. Is a striker the extent of the forward recruitment, or have you still got your eyes on more?
No, we're looking to bring probably 2 or 3 players in now. And within 3 weeks we'll get a new signing anyway with Michael Nottingham. So that'll be a big boost for us. We should have Mo Sangaré back in about 3 weeks as well. So that'll be another boost to our squad depth, because Mo can play quite a few positions. But what we're concentrating on now, I know like we've got January to recruit, but we're concentrating now solely on the Saturday's game. And Saturday's game is vital. If we can win that, it might make us able to take in another player or a player that we can spend a little bit more on.
Are you restricted to loan deals?
No.
Predominantly?
No. We're not daft enough to know that we can't carry the size of the squads that Ipswich and Derby and Sheffield Wednesday can carry. I mean, people look at the programme list on ours and they think, you've got 40 players. Well, you haven't. A lot of them are youth team players, a lot of them are 23 players that we've used. And that'll get streamlined by the end of the season. And going forwards, we'll try and hope that we don't get as many injuries but not carry as many players in the squad.
Is that a conscious effort then to replace some of those under-23s players temporarily, maybe, with more seasoned, senior players? Yeah,
and then, going forward, we're all on the same page at the club, so, it's difficult because the last 3 or 4 windows I've had a really bad time. Not players I've recruited, but how difficult it's been to recruit players. You get to a point where you can't wait any longer. And maybe going forward next season, I will wait and I'll go with a leaving limited squad and hope that some of the youth team players can step up to the plate.
You spoke a little bit there about positives on the injuries, maybe a couple that are on their way back. What's the news on Mitch Clark? Because from his social media, that doesn't seem to be good news.
That's not good news. I didn't expect it to be good news, to be honest. I know Mitch doesn't go off unless he can't carry on. And it's looking like 6 to 8 weeks, so that's something that we'll have to
I think he started every league game, hasn't he? How big a blow is that? How big a hole is that to fill?
people will look at my interviews. I've said he's one of the best right backs in the league. His form had tapered off last couple of weeks, to be honest. Yeah, I think that's been a little bit of sickness as well. But when he's on song, I think he's the best right back in the league. And unfortunately, we're going to have to do without him now.
Is that now an area that you've got to look at as well?
You've said that as well. Normally these young scousers say as well, as it's one word. We're going to have to look at all areas, to be honest. But as I said, my main focus is trying to get a team to perform on Saturday. You've
got these couple of cup games in 2 different competitions, which is unusual in January of any season for a club at League One level. Seamus Keneally spoke after the Derby game on Monday about confidence and how it is being negatively affected by where you are in the league and the results you're getting in the league. Can going away to 2 cup games help that if you go and win them?
If you win them, for sure, yeah. But you know what we've got to do is we've got to get back to the basics of how we play. And the basics of how we play is we put pressure on your opposition. We didn't against Derby. And there'd be quite a few reasons why that doesn't happen, but the predominant one is conceding in the first 6 minutes. So as soon as you're behind the 8 ball, and then that saps your confidence, saps the way you're going to play. People don't like playing against us when we go man for man because we're brave, we're tenacious, and we've got tenacious players, and we've got to get back to that.
As far as 2 cup games before you go back to the league, given that it's the window, given that you're looking to recruit, league-wise, is that a good thing? That you've got a week without a league match where potentially you might be under strength because of the number of injuries you've got?
I know what you're saying, but I don't think there's any advantages in playing cup games or league games, or disadvantages. I think you've just got to take the game that's in front of you, concentrate as much as you can, get the players up for that as much as you can, and hope that has a knock-on effect. Now, when we had that period of cup games where we didn't play in the league, it did have a positive effect because we started just concentrating on our own performance. People go on about the process, being important rather than the outcome, but the outcome will always be the driving factor in success in football. How you get to that success is generally related to form, and we've got to get our form back to the way it was 3 weeks ago.
Boreham Wood and their manager have developed something of a reputation in the FA Cup for shocks and advancing through the competition. You've been there, you've been in that situation. What is that like? Does it take the pressure off them when they're playing a team from a higher division?
I think it gives them more belief. So they believe that, that they can perform in the cup, and magically, I'm sorry, I've had that in the past. That you find form that you haven't seen in the last couple of weeks or the last month, because it's a cup game and we are supposed to do well in the cup, and we've been there, we've done that. So, I know exactly how they feel, and I know it's going to be a really tough game.
That whole dynamic of a league team that's maybe struggling in their league going up against a non-league opponent, is it fair to say that media interest in this game, perhaps that isn't us, is probably going to be about an upset? It's probably going to be not wanting you to lose, but half in the expectation that there's a shock.
So it's like going to an event at the Colosseum, and people want blood, don't they? And that's the harsh reality. People want to see upsets. Would it be an upset with what they did last year? Possibly not. That's why we're not live on TV. But we've got to make sure that we perform the way we know we can play. And if we perform the way we know we can play, we've got a great chance.
Does it help that you've played League Two and National League opposition in the previous 2 rounds?
Yeah, I think it does. And I think, going away to Crawley definitely helped us, because that gives us an idea of what we're going to come up against.
And you've spoken many times about the FA Cup and what it's meant to you, and the fact that you probably wouldn't be here now in a full-time professional club without the FA Cup. To get through to round 4, which would equal the club's best run, which you've done yourself, how significant would that be?
I mean, financially it'd be great. It wouldn't feel the same as what we did last time, because last time we had to win a few more games before that, you know, to get into that stage. And we were very much the giant killers then, whereas we haven't played a team higher than us yet. Which
I suppose shows why this competition is still so loved and so popular.
Well, I'll never lose my affection. I think it's a great competition. I was fortunate enough to support the team that won it last year. And as a child and as a lad growing up, it was a special day for me because, you know, one of the few games that you got live on TV, and you got exposure to football for 5 hours on a Saturday, whereas you can be exposed to football for 24/7 now, can't you? So, but you know, the club that I want to progress in it more than anything is Accrington. Are we going to win it? No. Is the harsh reality to that. But the further you can go, the easier you can make it to go forward in other areas in your campaign in the season.